They're known as dreamers, those who came to the U.S. without official documentation, but who came to the country when they were young. News 5's Peter Choi talked with one Colorado Springs resident about why she's worried about her immigration status.
Sabini Soto was born and raised in Mexico. When she was 3, she crossed the border with her mom. Since then, Colorado Springs has been her home.
Pretty fun.
Flipping through pictures of memories and also years
This is my cheer photo.
for living without permanent immigration status.
I never knew that most people get their social when they're born.
At 15, Soto learned about an opportunity, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Program, or DACA.
I applied for it and it took about 6 or 7 months to go through the whole process.
The program has given her work permits and protection from deportation. However, it's a temporary and needs to be renewed every 2 years.
I'd rather be, secure for another 2 years and then not know what's really going to happen next, because it's a very uncertain.
8 years ago, the future of the DACA program was up in the air when President Donald Trump's first administration tried to end it.
That was the first time in my life where I was like, oh, wow, I really need this to be here.
Soto says her concern for the future is now bigger because she now has a family of her own.
I know that I have my DACA. I know that I have a clean background. I know that I'm not a criminal, but I still fall under being a Latino and documented.
In a recent interview with NBC's Meet the Press, President Trump said he's willing to work with Democrats to keep DACA recipients in the country.
We have to do something about the dreamers because these are people that have been brought here at a very young age.
And no one really knows how things are going to work yet, so obviously everyone is very afraid.
I asked local immigration attorney if DACA recipients should worry about their status even though it's not directly impacting them right now.
At the moment, I don't think that most people who have DACA are at risk of kind of this mass deportation.
Still, it's a fear on Soto's mind.
How would you explain to a 4-year-old, hey, your mom's not coming back? My life is here, and it's always been here.
A federal appeals court in Texas ruled that DACA regulations violated federal law, but judges are keeping the program for now. People can still renew their DACA status. Soto says this year will be her 7th time. In studio, Peter Choi, News 5.
Peter, thanks. We wanted to reacquaint ourselves with the history of DACA in the U.S. It was created during the Obama administration in 2012. So-called dreamers are undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. as children and applied for protections under DACA. After the Obama administration attempted to expand DACA to include parents, the program survived several legal challenges until 2016, when the Supreme Court ruled in the U.S. versus Texas that the program would not be expanded. The following year, the Trump administration announced it would end DACA. In 2020, after years of challenges to end it, the Supreme Court found that it should not be scaled down as the Trump administration wanted, since the Department of Homeland Security failed to prove sufficient reason for ending the program. That ruling allowed existing and new DACA applications to be processed. As Peter mentioned, when he took office for a second term, President Trump said he will work on a plan to ensure DACA recipients remain in the U.S. We've posted more information on KOAA.com.